Page 36, last paragraph. So the king sent for this old man's father, and they found him too, and brought him before the king. He entered walking easily and without crutches. His eyes were clear, his hearing good, and he spoke distinctly, means clearly. The king showed him the grain, and the old grandfather looked at it and turned it about in his hand. "It's long since I saw such a fine grain," said he, and he bit a piece off and tasted it. "It's the very same kind," he added. So the king summoned the oldest man, means the first old man's grandfather. This oldest man had strong limbs and a sharp vision. He could hear well, his speech was clear, he could walk easily without any support. And he had strong teeth. He bit a piece of the grain and tasted it. Let's read the next paragraph and know what he tells about the grain to the king.
"Tell me, grandfather," said the king, "when and where was such corn grown? Have you ever bought any like it, or sown any in your fields?" And the old man replied, "Corn like this used to grow everywhere in my time. I lived on corn like this in my young days and fed others on it." So he told the king that a grain as big as that could have only been grown during his time. They survived by consuming it. He further told that buying or selling of corn was considered a sin. Each man had enough corn of his own. Wherever they wanted, they plowed, and wherever they plowed was their fields, since the land was free. The only thing that the men called their own was their labor. See the last paragraph, page 37. And the grandfather answered, "My field was God's earth. Wherever I plowed, there was my field. Land was free. It was a thing no man called his own. Labor was the only thing men called their own." So they were not greedy. They were satisfied with what they had. "I have two more questions to ask of you," said the king. "The first is, why did the earth bear such grain then, and has ceased to do so now?" Ceased means stopped. "And the second is, why does your grandson walk with two crutches, your son with one, and you yourself with none? Your eyes are bright, your teeth sound, and your speech clear and pleasant to the ear. How have these things come about?" So the king was very much surprised. He asked two final questions to this old man. Why has the earth stopped producing such grain now? And second is, why his grandson was so weak that he walked with two crutches, his son with one, and he himself needed no support to walk. So this old man answered, "These things are so because men have ceased to live by their own." So there is the moral of the story. The grandfather told the king that peasants in his time were not lazy. They worked hard and didn't depend upon the labors of others. They were happy and satisfied with what they had, and didn't have ill feelings like jealous of others. So that was the secret of their sound health. See the few last lines on page 38. In the old times, men lived according to God's law. They had what was their own and did not covet what others had produced. So, students, the story ends with a nice message. See, we all have become reliant on the power of purchase. We don't want to work and assign our tasks to other people. We run after money throughout our lives and want to store more and more. So, we should be happy with what we have and should never get jealous of others. This is the fact of living happily in this world.